Hey guys, that's your Rage Out Legends. Welcome to the video. I'm not alone. I'm thrilled to be joined by the dude who never collabs with anybody. It is Tyraku. Tyraku, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, Ash? Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing great and looking forward to talking about some of these epics or champions. Maybe epics, maybe legendaries. I don't know.
We talked about epics on your channel, though.
Yes.
You guys should check it out. I see what you did there. I see what you did. We just got done building an all-epic team, our best all-epic team. So check out Tyraku's video there. He's actually going to go build it now and test it out. So it's going to be kind of a cool two-parter to some extent. Tyraku, in case you don't know him, one of my favorite raid content creators. You've been at it for like a long, long time. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years?
I think four or 5 years now. So definitely quite a while.
A true OG, man. Well, I love your content. I watch a lot of your videos, so you guys should too. Today, we're going to talk about champions that we waited too long to max out. These are champions that we, it's like when you go to a movie and you think it's going to be okay, and then it just like supersedes your expectations.
Don't you recognize them, Sheriff?
Why, it's Zeb and Zeke.
These are those champions for us, champions that we maxed and we thought, dude, we should have done this a lot sooner. Hopefully you guys have a few of these champions. Tyraku, you're the guest. Who are you going to start with here? What's a champion that really just absolutely impressed you?
All right, so I have one champion on this list who I think I'm probably going to be judged for when I say it. So I'm not going to start with that one first.
Yeah,
we'll
go with that one last.
Yeah, we'll take that one last.
I thought you were going to lead with it. You're like, Marichka the Unbreakable.
I mean, it might be kind of close, honestly.
No.
But the first champion is going to be Alica. So
okay.
Alica is an epic barbarian. And this champion, I was actually using a while back in some epic only live arena content, and she hits pretty daggone hard. She has a lockout, which granted it is only basically 1 turn. It says 2-turn lockout, but they skip their 1 turn.
Yeah.
But this skill has been huge for Faction War Hard, which is going to kind of be a theme with a lot of my champions. With Faction War Hard, I started bringing up champions who I didn't use before. But Alica hits hard on that A3 ability, has a hard A2 ability as well, ignoring defense. And then her A1 has a chance of doing extra hits. So she's helped me out in Faction War waves. I built her really fast, high accuracy, and good damage. Did great in live arena with the epic only stuff. And honestly, just a great champion who was huge in specifically Faction War Hard.
I'm going to put you on the hot seat here. I like Alica too. A lot of people, when Alice the Wanderer came out, I'm sure you heard it, a lot of people were just like, immediately Alica and Basher got thrown into the conversation. A lot of people who didn't like Alice were like, yeah, Alica's 100 times better than her. So what do you think? Do you think Alica is as good as Alice, a legendary?
Do I think Alica's as good as Alice? Well, unfortunately, I don't really use Alice at all, but I think it's mostly because Alice is Sacred Order. So my Sacred Order, I got Siegfried, so he just carries that faction. I think as far as a damage dealer, I think Alice does hit harder and has a lockout, so the similar stuff there. I've not actually compared them, so I don't really know what the multipliers are. And I do know that Alice has that hard hitting, A3 hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
She hits hard in general. Their lockouts, I mean, both of their lockouts are the 2 turns, which is the enemy skips 1 turn basically. So for me, I value Alica more than Alice just because my Faction War stuff, my Barbarians is lower than my Sacred Order. But I guess if I didn't have Siegfried and I had better Barbarians, maybe I'd take Alice over Alica.
Your answer is true, though. It's like, as with anything in this game, it depends on who you have, who you don't have. I think that for an epic, the fact that like there's epic restrictive content, Alica is great and arguably better. But I think objectively, like in a vacuum, I think that Alice is quite better. I've always said that, but people
plus
have
you
always,
can have the Opstar Brimstone or the Brimstone owner in general. So blessings on legendaries.
Either way, though, focusing on your choice, I love it, man. I think it's a good way to open the video. It's certainly not Marichka, so good job, good job. I'm gonna go with an epic too, man, to start things out. I've talked about this dude before, and similar to you, this is not gonna be Faction Wars only or anything like that, but that's what I'm focused on right now on my account, so I have that fresh in the old brain. But Senial is a champion from Bannerlords that I maxed out. He's an old school champion. He was in the game when they launched, right? But this dude, I maxed him out for Centranos, either that or it was for a secret room in Doom Tower, right? As soon as we started getting this more restrictive content. First of all, have you invested in a Seneschal at all?
I don't think I have, actually. I know his kit is solid, but I've not invested recently.
I really love this dude, man. He's been huge for me on the provoke waves, the landing that provokes in Bannerlords. But not just that, like just in control in general. So let's talk about Seneschal. He's got a leech on his A1, which is great.
I have him.
He's Bannerlord, Force Affinity Epic. Force Affinity Epic.
Okay, cool.
So my man here is super cool, right? He's fairly tanky, a 20k HP, 1266 on the defense. He's got a leech on the A1, 40% land rate, 45 with sniper, not bad. He's got the AoE provoke, but he also has a counterattack. It's 100% provoke. It is on a 4-turn cooldown, but he also puts counterattack on himself for 2 turns, thus more leeches dished out. And, you know, it's generally on every enemy in wave content as well, because he's counterattacking everybody due to the provoke. But one of my other favorite things about him is he has a perfect veil and a continuous heal on an ally, but on a 2-turn cooldown for a 2-turn duration. So dang. I love the perfect veil. It's a really good additional ability to have on someone who's already a lockdown provoker. So he's been, you know, true to the title of the video. He's a dude that when I first maxed him out, I'm like, man, he's really solid. You know, he's not the best epic out there, but he's been super helpful to me in all that restrictive content. Curse City, Doom Tower, and Faction Wars Hard.
That's awesome. Now the provoke is AoE provoke. Sweet. Yeah, I was looking around to find him. I don't have him in my account. Unfortunately, I pulled him, but I think I accidentally fed him. But I was actually looking for him a while back to actually use him some content. But AoE provoke, that's super strong. Unfortunately, the people leaving reviews in game, they you see those?
Yeah, they hate him. They hate him.
Yeah, don't listen to the people though. They don't know what they're talking about.
Well, it depends. Like obviously, if you pull him and you know you're focused on whatever, like Hydroclam. I mean, it just depends on where you are and what you need, obviously. But I really like this dude. Really good kit for an epic, especially for an old school epic that's never been buffed, really. You know.
True. Very true.
All right, who you got next, man?
All right, so my next champion is one that all you guys watching Ash are sure to know. And that is going to be Tagore. So we actually mentioned him. Yeah, we actually mentioned him on my video, and I seen Tagore mentioned from many of Ash's videos. I think you even have a new player code with Tagore, right?
Yeah. I think I'll find a download link with him. Sure, why not? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, but like starting the game with this dude is insane, man. Tagore, I think Eleanor and Ugo and stuff like they didn't have that back in our day, man. You know, those new player bonuses.
Tagore's a monster. I had made him mostly for Faction Wars because I didn't have a reviver that I felt really good bringing, but I didn't even realize that he had the increased defense on the A1 skill, which was also helping for those daggone waves that are, you know, have 7+ buffs or whatever that nonsense is. But I was using him there. And of course, this is much more in-game stuff in Faction Wars, but an A1 increased defense is going to save your champion the lowest HP every now and then. But that A2 increased speed, I mean, I'm telling your viewers stuff they already know from you, but that heal is huge on the A2. The increased speed is massive. One of probably the most impactful buffs in the game to have on your team, especially if you're a newer player, makes a huge difference. Going 2, 3, or more times per 1 turn on the enemy. And then, of course, the res on the A3 and the damage reduction that I honestly forgot about until you mentioned it again and reminded me.
Yeah. Dude, you're right. I mean, Tagore, I think he's my favorite reviver out of every epic. You know, is revive itself isn't the strongest revive, obviously, but I mean, you said it all beautifully. But like the heals, the increased speed, the 3-turn cooldown, that's hard to find that anyway, and it scales off his HP, and he's just the best all around support I think out there. Amongst epics. Yeah, love me some Tagore. Sure. Okay, I'm gonna go with another epic. I do have the rest are gonna be legendary on my list. But this dude is another old school champion that was in at the very beginning of the game. So obviously I slept on him for a long time. And it's actually Catacomb Counselor. And it really speaks, this is an Undead Horde Magic Affinity champion, right? This guy, listen, he's not the best ally attacker of epics, right? Obviously, Fat Man is the best ally attacker out of every epic in the game. And Tagore, even though her ally attack, Morag, even though her ally attack isn't as good as Catacombs, is a better champion overall. And honestly, Catacomb Counselor is super slow, 92 speed, he's squishy. There's not a lot to love about this dude, except for my man has a 3-team ally attack, right? And I think it speaks to the emergence of ally attack in this game over the last 2 years, that it's just become such a little cheat code in terms of as the new champions get released with more and more powerful A1s. Back in the day, A1s for most champions were like attack and like maybe do a little something. Now they're a hell of a lot better. I mean, I'm not saying that Queen of Hearts is your average AoE on the A1, but like she was released an AoE decreased defense champion. So what I'm trying to say is every time they release an busted A1, every ally attacker in the game becomes inherently more, valuable. And there's just so much content in the game right now. I was using Catacomb Counselor just 2 days ago in Faction Wars hard mode, kill 5 enemies or whatever with ally attack, right? I think there's like 2 options, Necret the Great and Catacomb Counselor in Undead Horde. But I say all that to say that there's only a few decent ally attackers in all epics in the game. I use him also in a Fire Knight level, on a Fire Knight level of Soul Cross and Centranos. I use Catacomb Counselor where I don't have any other option to get that damn shield down. It's such a hard version of the Fire Knight. So again, he's been a champion that it's more restrictive content, but man, he's a guy that I use a lot now.
Yeah, definitely. I used to use him quite a bit when I had no ally attack champion. He definitely slots in for that. Also with I don't know how much you do these events, but the faction specific Fire Knight tournaments and such.
Yeah.
If they have faction specific for, if it's involving undead, he's a great option for that. Of course. I mean, no ally attack going against Fire Knight. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, man.
Break that shield.
Ally attack's so valuable, and I just what am I gonna do? Lady Atessa, I got nothing else. So there's not much. There's no many options.
Exactly.
Okay, who you have next, man?
Now, my next champion is going to be one who I believe actually got buffed a while back. I don't think I had her during that time when she was not so good, but with Faction Wars hard, I've been using her more. But honestly, looking at her kit, she's good for much more than that. That's Taria, Dark Elf, Void Legendary. I think I heard you speak on her not too long ago.
I've always liked Taria, but the buff was much needed too,
Yeah, definitely. But her kit, for some reason, maybe she looks similar to another Void Dark Elf champion. I feel like that's not very good. I don't know. I feel like there was a champion she looked similar to that I got confused with them. Maybe it was Claydna over in Sylvan Watcher.
Sylvan Watcher. Yeah, maybe a little bit of the same vibe going on.
Yeah, but I lumped them together.
Claydna also got a really good buff though, so they're both the same category there too.
Maybe I need to revisit them both. But either way, maybe it was just the look of her portrait. I don't know, but I didn't use her. I just ignored her.
Though. This is a good call out here because she's really solid.
Yeah, so she, for Faction Wars, was huge. I mean, the AoE decreased speed on that A1 ability, also chance of placing fear, and then the A2, that AoE stun is so helpful for Faction Wars, until, of course, you get to Jingwan waves and they cleanse it. That's a whole different story.
Right? They added freaking Jingwan every damn faction.
I know, dude. It's terrible. But she was huge for that. But even outside of Faction Wars, I mean, an AoE decreased speed on the A1 ability, there's not a lot of champions that have that. And like I was saying,
not at 70% either. Sorry to interrupt.
What is the percentage?
Not at 70% or 75% with Sniper, like even Krisk and like all the other like Mother Cybele, like all these AoE decreased speeds are usually 50%. Sorry.
That's a really good point. I didn't even notice. So yeah, even higher chance to land decreased speed, which similar vein to the increased speed being so powerful for your team. A decreased speed on the enemies, especially wave content, Doom Tower, Curse City, whatever you're doing, that is huge. I mean, she is really good for control. And then, hey, if you want to throw into arena, she has a speed aura in all battles by 23%, plus a turn meter boost on the A3 skill, which may not be the biggest turn meter boost, a buff cleanse, and then a turn meter boost by 15%. You could possibly use it to cleanse, I don't know, maybe poisons from your champion. If you're going against the enemy Calvalax, you'd have to build her in like Stone Skin and such. Actually, no, you could do Feral gear as well, but she has use in the arena. She has great control, and then her passive, well, she's immune to sleep, stun, freeze, fear, and true fear. So boosts her turn meter by 20% when enemies try to place that as well. So I think Taria is an awesome granted Void Legendary champion.
Yeah, I mean, she needed a buff because she is, to your point, Void Legendary, and she used to be a decent cleanser with an AoE stun. And that was kind of it. And it's like, dude, like nowadays, I mean, Mikage is a permanent fusion. She's not easy to get, but she's got... she puts Taria to shame in one of her forms. But then the buff was great because they added the extra turn meter decrease. So she's like a maven when it comes to wave control. And then on the A3, they added the block debuffs to the cleanse. And that's super solid. The last thing I'll say about her too is that what I really like about her is with an 892 base attack, you'd never think in a million years she could dish out any damage. But man, she has you ever notice this sometimes, Tyraku, where they'll randomly give a support champion big multipliers because their base attack is so low. I forget what they are offhand, but I just know these multipliers on the A1 and the A2 are not bad at all. So if you can mitigate that low attack she can actually, in Hydra specifically, because she can't be true feared, she's always filling her turn meter all over the place, and then 2 AoEs against all the Hydra heads. I just remember being like really like impressed.
3.5 on her A1 and a 4.5 on her A2.
Right, dude? An AoE, so a 3.5 and a 4.5. So yeah, sure, 892. And she's not going to be like Toshiro. I'm not saying she's going to be like, but man, you can get some big damage from a support, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, cool. Good call out there. I like that. Okay, so with my legendaries, I went like a little bit, I went with maybe A or B tiers that I thought were going to be like C, you know what I'm saying? So like, I went a little bit lower in terms of so just before people were like, oh my God, Ash, you think that whatever. So I'm going to go with Morrigan. I think she has such a cool aesthetic, man. Do you have her? Do you like her? What do you think about her before I say anything?
I was actually considering putting her on my list. I think her aesthetic's cool.
Yes.
I just, for some reason, I look at her, I always think she's floating in water. That's not supposed to be water, is it? Is it water?
Well,
it might actually be water.
I think it's like, I think it's like death dust.
I think it's water. She has a starfish in her hair.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
And there's water bubbles around. I used to think that it was water, but thought I was wrong. But no, I guess it is water.
I don't know what it is, but she's so cool. One of the coolest designs in the game, man. Anyway, I don't like her just because of the design, though. She's fast, 112 base speed. She got speed in all battles on the aura. She has like the coolest little passive here, man. Like I remember when she was introduced to the game a few years ago, she was actually like, I'm not sure how much you were into, this is before live arenas. I'm not sure how much of an arena. I know you're a big live arena player. Me and Tyraka, we've had some big bouts, by the way, in live arena.
Beat me up for a while there.
Dude, I smoked you a couple times, right? This is my recollection. And then... And then you beat me like a few times in a row, like more recently, right? Am I remembering correctly?
I was on stream and you were beating me. And I was like, dang, I keep losing to Ash. He just destroyed me. And then I'd face you at like 8 o'clock at night when I was at the gym and you beat me again. I'm like, man, it's not going good. You're Elaz, you're Crixia, they're monsters.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, I got Tyrok, I can beat him. And then all of a sudden, I took you for granted, bro, and I think you've got me twice in a row. But anyway,
changing.
Morrigan was actually at the start of the turn plays a 100% heal reduction debuff on 2 turns of the enemy with the lowest HP. Cannot be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased by enemies or allies. Dude, like it's just a small little passive. Like it sounds pretty negligible, but it's the start of each turn, you know, and it's just so handy against like anywhere you could possibly need hero reduction, you know, from Fire Knight to Amos. Like I think that Amos is like, she's the biggest cheat code if you can have her because you never have to deal with hero reduction being necessary. So it's a really cool passive. And then she's got one of these Velocimancy, I think but she's got one of these moves, like kind of like a Shuzen or Lysandra. But it's a turn meter decrease on enemies by 20, turn meter fill by 20, and then the increased speed in addition to that. So really good move, obviously. But, you know, I have a thing. I am a sucker in this game for stealing buffs, dude. Like, I love stealing buffs. That's why I love Gamaran so much.
Well, it's so much better than stripping.
It's
give
so
them to
much
me.
better, bro. Yeah, like just seeing all those buffs steal. You'll see that'll be a reoccurring theme here in my choices. But I love the stealing all buffs. It's only one enemy, 3-turn cooldown. But I like she puts True Fear on all enemies on the same move. So you can use her for some, you know, some wave control as well. Decrease accuracy if the target's a boss. I like that. If the True Fear or the stun or whatever champion has, I like that they give you an alternate thing for bosses. So I like that it could be decreased accuracy. And then she has decreased speed at 70% on her A1. So great again against bosses specifically. So, I mean, she's not the strongest champion in the game, but she's also an all-arounder, you know, whether it's the arena, a tricky boss, a tricky, buggy, crappy boss like Amos, or elsewhere, like, or even in the arena. She's a really cool champ.
Yeah, and she also has a really high base speed at 112. So if you were to get lucky and pull a 6-star soul for her, I mean, you have a solid speed booster.
Oh, yeah.
10 meter decrease, increase.
Yeah, and unlike a Shuzen, like Shuzen's a billion times better for the arena, let me just be clear. But unlike Shuzen, she's not going to get a polymorph with a decreased speed on her A3, you know?
Or an instant ban in live arena.
Or instant ban.
Ain't nobody banning Morgan over Shuzen.
Indeed. So she's a cool little champ. I really love her. Anytime I have her available, I try to use her because she's really cool. I was using her Faction Wars the other day as well.
Yeah.
Who you got next?
All right, so up next is actually going to be a fusion that was not too long ago.
Okay.
It's going to be Esme the Dancer. I think is her
Ooh, I
name.
like
Yeah.
you show us her. That's a good one.
So Esme, when she was released, I thought she was going to be good. I didn't think I was going to have any use for her necessarily in my account, but I knew that she had potential. But once again with Faction Wars, but even outside of Faction Wars, I've been using her more in Curse City, and she's not just bringing a little bit to the team, she's bringing a significant amount to the team. And the more I read her kit, the more I realize, oh, this is even more than what I thought originally. And I'm finding out new stuff all the time. But of course, the A3 is going to place the increased accuracy and the increased speed. For some reason, once again, things just looking different than I expected to. The team up stuff with Moto the Peel, for some reason, I just assumed at first that paragraph was if he was on the team, but the first portion isn't. I mean, because the period's separating it. But it says has a 75% chance, books up to 100%
Dude, the
of removing
same
all
thing
buffs.
got me, bro. Same thing got me on the removing buffs.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I got to bring Moto, but I don't have him for Faction Wars and all that kind of stuff. But no, she strips it anyway. She just steals it if he's on the team, which I don't use him. Maybe he's on your list. Kind of doubt it. I don't know.
He's not. I actually just pulled him, honestly. I haven't built him yet, so.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Cool. Well, so her A3 is huge, and that buff strip is really helpful for me and Barbarians before Armons, but if you have Armons, maybe a little bit of less help. But I've used her a few times in some Curse City rooms. That was massive help there as well. And then, of course, her A2, AoE attack. So if you wanted to get creative and throw her into, Curse Set, Provoke Cells kind of stuff, extra stuff for maybe Hydra, excellent Hydra champion as well.
Yeah.
Increased speed, all that kind of stuff is really helpful, plus block buffs. But placing a weaken plus block buffs is really cool because now you could bring in champions with just a decreased defense, and you have decreased defense and weaken covered on the whole Hydra team or whatever you're running. And she also decreases the turn meter, which kind of messed me up a few times because I didn't realize that was the case. And she decreased Amarius, and he surprised me and was nuking me. Either way, the A2 is cool. And then her A1, just placing increased attack on all allies for one turn. I feel like that part is missed, but it was a big help for me in different areas where I have attack-based nukers alongside her. Put the increased attack, and you're good to go. And then her passive, I know it's nice as well. The chance to change stuff, I haven't paid too much attention to it, how often it procs, but the chance of changing crits to weak, normal, or strong hits is pretty awesome.
Dude, and even the active part of it, like whenever she's hit, increase the turn meter of the ally with the highest attack by 50%. Like, damn, bro. That is like low key one of the best turn meter boosts out there. Although it's very niche, it happens once per turn, obviously, as well. But like, man, I agree with you, dude. This is a great call out, man. This is my favorite of your picks so far. She's like so much better, I feel like, than most people thought when she was initially announced,
Oh, for sure.
You gotta be careful on those fusions, People are so quick, myself included in the past sometimes, of being like, crap, And it's like, you're like, ooh, they end up being like really solid sometimes, I'm gonna go with a little dwarf here in Goffrey Brassclad.
Oh, sweet.
Man, Goffrey, I feel like, I've mentioned him before here on the channel now. I might have picked him in a video similar to this a while back, but he just continues to help me out, man. Like, it's just nice little simple kit, but very effective. AoE stun, obviously very good for wave control anywhere. 3-turn cooldown, 100% stun. I mean, back in the day, this alone would have been like insane, but now like in the post Armand's era, it's like, okay, what else you got for me, Increased defense, kind of a lame A3, I'm not gonna lie. He removes decreased defense and weaken. He only brings just increased defense. It's nothing like crazy, but it is on a 3-turn cooldown. It is useful, and I just find myself in a lot of situations where I don't have another increased defense champion. He's got it covered. He has a decreased defense on his A1, which is really nice. Nice to have a control champion, a control/support, bring a decreased defense on the A1. It's helped me a lot in situations, especially like against some of the tougher bosses in Faction Wars. He also provoke as well on the second hit, so more control. But really his brass-clad passive is what makes him, extra special to me. And that is, I think it's easier to read the active effect first. If an ally's about to get killed by a fatal hit, blocks it, puts a block damage on them for 1 turn. It's just such a solid way to just keep her team moving and keep somebody alive. Whenever an ally is attacked while under that block damage, has a 100% chance when booked to placing a stun on them for 1 turn. So more stuns just kind of churn out from this brass-clad passive. So he's just a monster when it comes to control. He can deal a little bit of damage too. He's decent in the arena as well. So I feel like he's just a versatile little guy who can help you out in a lot of situations, and he's tanky too.
Yeah, his damage is kind of surprising, isn't it?
Yeah.
I used to use him a lot, I think, in a go second type team in arena.
Yeah.
And that passive is huge. Like before I had Necrid and stuff like that, that passive is huge. It surprises people. And yeah, the A2, if I remember correctly, has a pretty good multiplier.
Yeah, for sure. And he can bring his own increased defense too, so you can take full advantage of the potential damage there. So yeah, he's definitely a guy that, you know, is again, like I said earlier, probably a champion that I thought would be kind of like, man, like B or C tier, and kind of like, oh yeah, maybe B plus A tier on my man Goffrey. Do you have one left? Yeah, you do, right?
I do have one left. The one that's going to have me judged by everybody,
okay,
I'm
you're
sure.
gonna judge you. All right, who you
yeah,
got?
so this one's a mythical champion. I narrowed down a little bit more. It's a free mythical champion.
Okay.
Now, I knew this champion was good.
Let me guess.
With the invention of souls by Plarium, if I don't have a very good soul for a champion, I'm like, I'm not going to build that champion because I got a lot of really good souls for a lot of champions. So this champion, I had actually no soul at first, then I had a 2-star soul. It was just chilling on him. I'm like, I really need a 4-star soul to make him work. The champion is Embry's. And in my, I know, in my recent Clan Siege video, I actually built Embry's for the first time. I got a little bit roasted in the comments because people were like, you don't know how to use Embry's? I didn't. I mean, his skills are paragraphs. They're like short stories to read. And you can read through them and understand it. But when you actually start to use them, it's a different story. It's like, no, I'll all of a sudden forget what this does. And this short story, I don't want to read it during this video. So
need the Cliff Notes version, man. Spark Notes.
What's that? Okay, true. I need to do that. But in that video I was using, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do here? And I was just placing necrosis stacks because my other champions were killing him and he was just destroying the team. And I didn't even fully know how his kit worked. Well, recently I've been using him more and more in live arena. The biggest reason why I didn't build him sooner was because 1, I didn't have a good soul for him. 2, I have a Taras with a 6-star soul, which, I mean, huge HP based nuker. I have Commodus taking up some of my HP based nuker gear. So I have all this HP based nuker gear going to other champions. I'm like, I don't really want to build Embry's to be mediocre. He's currently in Savage plus Stone Skin for me. I didn't want to build him to be mediocre. So I'm like, I just won't build him, but I just moved my Taras gear over to him. He's a monster. How do you have yours built?
I think I did a very similar thing that you did. I think initially I was like, I put him in like a, you know, B tier gear for my account. And then now he's sitting in my Taras gear because similar to, I thought this guy was going to be really good before anybody had him. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on him, but he's even better than I thought, like to your point. And like, I think it's still a fair choice because the whole spirit of this was like waited too long or just like way surpassed even if you had high expectations. And Embry's to me is just like a top, you know, I have a lot of champions, a lot of mythicals, and I'm starting to use him more than Alas, right? Who I have like fully maxed out. And I'm starting to use him more than Galeas, who's really good now after his buff. And like Embry's is just such a huge threat. Like he can't be locked out. He can remove stone because you can just go and block revive and whatever, you know, and he's just like such a threat in so many different ways, you know. So so many extra turns, just like, dude, he's nuts, man. Hard hitting nuke. He has so much going on, to your point. Man, he's one of my favorite champions in the game, honestly.
Yeah, he's definitely a monster of a champion. I know there's a few ways to build him. I think the most popular is Stone Skin plus Savage. Like
yeah, I just have Stone Skin and Savage. I'll pull him up in the background,
no accuracy. But
no accuracy.
I've also heard people going really fast just to strip the Stone Skin and stuff, which I think it's much more niche. But another thing with them, I mean, being a Force Affinity champion for arena content is huge because of these daggone annoying champions. This one specific daggone annoying champion, nice. Magic Affinity, nice. Magic Affinity, Sigfriend, they don't do as much to Embry's. He can survive them much better. And also the Necrosis sometimes kills nice, which anything that kills nice, I'm happy with that.
Indeed, yeah. I'm rocking the Lethal Stone Skin. I have him 299 speed, so nice. With 200 on the dot accuracy, which is from affinity bonuses mainly. You know? So
what's your crit damage on him?
Not high. It's because I don't have any empowerment or anything, but 285.
Yeah, okay. So yours is pretty solid. Probably maybe a little better than mine. My HP is 103, speed 264, crit damage 293. Missing that 4-star blessing is, I don't know. It's
Well,
not
my
as big of a
HP is a
deal as I
lot
thought
lower.
it was
Mine's
gonna be.
93, so arguably it's the same, or maybe yours is better. But I preferred a little bit of speed. Like, I don't know how you feel like right now in the game, but man, I'm like, all my nukers, I'm just trying to build them even faster because I just feel like even if I'm rocking a 250 nuker, speed nuker, like I just can't do it anymore. Like, you know, like I'm just like, they feel so slow, getting lapped. So like I'm trying to err on the side of, and like even 299, I'm not saying that's like, to me that's still not fast enough like to where I want my nukers, you know. So it's anyway, but I digress. But
No, I
Embry's
definitely
is a
agree.
beast, man. All right, I'm gonna go with a crazy pick. I should have like went for the for a fusion that I love or something like that more people have, but like because I feel like this is quite a more niche pick. But I picked her because I thought a lot of people throwing hate at Nave of Hearts. And I really like Nave of Hearts, you know.
Yes.
So she wasn't, I think they had like some shard events and stuff for her, but she wasn't like a very easily accessible champion, if I recall, right? Was she?
No, Nave of Hearts was not.
Was she a reward in a Titan event? Am I like, I get them all confused.
I think it was a Deck of Fate or something.
Deck of Fate,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how I got her. But I just forgot. There's so many damn events and so many, like, I forgot the availability of how everybody was available. But either way, man, I really like her. Like, she doesn't excel in one particular area, which is like a huge knock, obviously, right? Like, there's nothing that you're like, oh, she's the best at that. But I've always loved taunt champions, generally speaking, you know, like ever since Duden the Runic or whatever, like I've always appreciated the taunt, you know. It can just be so annoying to go against, and I like having that advantage on my side. But as I told you earlier, I love steals. I love buff steals. And an AoE stealing 2 buffs from every target is really strong. It's like tied with the third, I guess it's the third best buff steal in the game, I want to say. Continuous heal on all allies on the same ability. She's got unkillable for 2 turns and a taunt for 2 turns with the AoE buff steal on a 3-turn cooldown. It's like you're doing so much here, and it's just like such good. You're stealing all their buffs and then you're taunting them with unkillable. It's like, yeah, while healing your team. It's so cool. And then you get the swap HP enemy. You get the heal reduction. Can't be resisted or decreased or anything. Equalizes HP levels all allies to the highest HP. So now it's one of the best heals out there in the game, with the increased defense in all allies, right? She fully restores her max HP as well, and she destroys max HP every time she's attacked, which is really powerful. I feel like players underrate how good destroy enemy max HP is, especially in like waves or in arena, you know, like that life harvest blessing, because people underrate destroyed max HP. I think like they underrate that blessing too. But this is a big beefy decrease off her passive, and she's attacked all the time because she has taunt. So man, she's just like a really cool and I think underrated, just kind of Jill of all trades. I don't know, but I really like her. She has provoke on her A1 too.
100%. I think Nave is an amazing champion. I did a lot of content on her and actually pushed a lot of stuff. But one of the most memorable things I had in a video was the people I was asking, is Nave a guy or girl? I thought it was a girl. It's not a girl.
A girl too, man.
It's a guy.
I just called her a Jill. Oh no.
Everybody in the comment section blew it up saying, oh, Tyraka, you should know what a Nave is. I don't know what a Nave is. I'm glad that you were thinking she was
I thought it was like a gardening tool, bro. I don't know.
I didn't know what it was either, but I guess it's like actually, I still don't even know. But I do remember being corrected, and I'm like, dang, it is a guy, I guess. But I thought it was a girl. Either way, Nave is an amazing champion, and I just wouldn't be surprised if your video says similar stuff down below.
An unscrupulous man is what a Nave is.
I mean, how can you tell by looking at this champion? Like the red.
I know, it's like a big heart with a with more hearts and more hearts.
It looks feminine to me.
Looks feminine to me.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Oh my God. All right, cool. You learn something every day here, guys. If you stayed till the end of the video, now you know that a Nave is an unscrupulous man. And hey, from 2 very scrupulous men, we're gonna sign off here. But hey, the fun doesn't have to end, guys. Check out the collab that we did in Tyraku's channel. Any final words here, Tyraku?
No, just thank you very much for having me on, Ash. I appreciate it. Maybe I get some more collabs in before next year.
Yeah, let's do it,
A lot of fun,
man.
tons of fun. Thank you.
Always love having you on, man. Thanks again, guys. Check out Tyraku's channel. Thank you for watching till the end. Much love. And as always, take care, guys.